This is a werewolf movie that doesn't have anything to do with werewolves. I've recently, found a lot of werewolf movies, so you're gonna get a lot of those reviews. Plus, I love werewolves. But they always get the bottom of the barrel with their movies. But this movie is about a cop with anger issues, and he grows out of them by the end of the movie. There's a few murders here and there, and they're like, oh, it's a serial killer, but the main actor just won't. They're like, it's an animal, but the main actor won't accept that. He thinks it is a serial killer, and he thinks everybody else is out of their minds, and you're like, dude, it's clearly an animal, it's clearly a werewolf. This is a werewolf movie. But it turns out, in reality, it is a serial killer all along. And he just dresses up like a werewolf. Though they don't frame it very well. I thought it was a low-budget movie at first, because the way they do it is they'll have the werewolf attack somebody, but they won't show the full scene when the person dies. And they'll cut between scenes. So you think it's like, oh yeah, they can't show too much graphicness because they don't have a lot of budget. But this is a decently high-budget movie. The reason they won't show the kills is it's because a person pretending to be a werewolf. Which is very disappointing, to say the least. And, oh yeah, this dude's in it. I thought he was going to be the main character, but his girlfriend dies. He gets sent back to his house with his mom, and then we see, 2 more scenes with him when they question him. And then when he calls them saying, hey, they left something at their house, and it's a sewing needle. Which, honestly, if I would have thought about it for more than 2 seconds, it would have made sense that the sewing needle was made to make the werewolf costume. But yeah, they frame it pretty well. So you would know it's that the serial killer is actually just pretending to be a werewolf, right? Nope, they gotta make it obvious. The dude, when he's running away from the cops, there's a cop in his house that he's fighting, trying to survive. Then he sees cop cars pull up with sirens. But no, before he leaves, he's gotta throw on half of his werewolf costume and leave with it. Just to make sure you know that this whole time it was a guy pretending to be a werewolf. Pretty lazy and stupid, if you ask me. But yeah, the dude has anger issues. Beats people up throughout the movie. He beats up this one cop named Bo, and then he fires him. He beats up this colonel earlier in the movie. Cornerer named Gary. And then he realizes that earlier in the movie, the random scene where someone throws a beer bottle at their car wasn't a random scene. It was Gary who did it. So then he fires Gary. Pretty lazy. But then, yeah, we find out that all these people that were dying are because of this dude that was pretending to be short. Because the description of the killer was tall, 6'5". And the dude answers the door clearly hunched down. But the movie tries to frame it as a twist. That, oh yeah, he's actually tall. So that makes him the killer. Even though he was clearly hunched over during that scene, he just had the look of a killer. They didn't frame it very well at all. But mostly this movie is just showing the down spiral of this man and his anger issues and his alcoholism, which is, I guess, common in werewolf movies for some reason, since I just watched Wolf Cop, and they had the same thing. And then him slowly getting better, which didn't happen in Wolf Cop. But it doesn't really feel earned. And his dad dies off screen because he has a heart murmur. But I think since the movie ended with an in memory of, I think the actor actually died for the dad in the movie. The movie does open up with something that I do have to criticize besides this movie being pretty lazy. I don't know why it was so well received. It's really wasn't that good. It was pretty generic. But anyway, we get this couple, which I thought was going to be the main focus of the movie, of this YouTuber that I watched. I didn't know he was also an actor. Apparently, he's been in a few movies here and there. But this guy named Jimmy, who I knew from his YouTube channel. And he plays a guy named PJ in this movie, like I already mentioned. He doesn't do much. His girlfriend gets killed off screen, and then we see the aftermath of her being torn apart. And there's a scene that literally leads to nothing, where this dude says the F slur, and then Jimmy points out that he's using slurs, and then he calls him stupid. And then they mention the fact that he hates that the dude says slurs because his brother is gay. Like, wow. That's okay. They put a slur in this movie just so they can have this random scene of him saying his brother is gay, and he would have hated if his brother was here to hear that. Why can't you just hate the fact that he said a slur? Why do you have to throw that random thing in? Because it doesn't lead to anything. We never meet his brother. And he's only in 2 more scenes. I do think Jimmy did pretty good in the movie, though, with the very brief amount of screen time he had in this movie. He acts pretty good. I think his reaction to the police coming is pretty accurate and well acted. But I just think it's stupid that they threw in a slur and it didn't lead to anything. It was just like, well, his brother is gay, that's why he's mad that someone said a slur. Then we only see that dude like 2 more times in this movie, near the end of the movie, where he gets his stuff dropped off because, the case is over. They have all the evidence because they think they have the guy, but it's just some random junkie that happened to be tall. And then the other scene is him calling a cop a bitch, who was just stupid. Like the movie.